A very good morning to everyone. So today I would like to present to you the topic which is about the metastasis. So what is metastasis? So metastasis is actually a process where the cancer cell is spread from a primary tumor site to other parts of the body. So the first step of metastasis involves the cellular transformation and the tumor growth. So at this stage, the growth of neoplastic cells are very progressive, and it encourages the growth by supplying nutrients to these cancer cells. So usually the nutrients are supplied to these cancer cells through the simple diffusion process. So the second process is known as the proliferation or the angiogenesis process. So at this stage, the synthesis and secretion of angiogenic factor establish a capillary of network from the surrounding host tissue which support the proliferation process of these tumor cells. Okay, this next step is known as the invasion process. So at this process, the tumor cells will start to invade the host stroma. So usually the target of these cancer cells is those thin walls venules. So the example of thin wall venules are the lymphatic channels. So why do they always attack all these thin wall venules? It's actually due to the fact that this method could provide the least resistance for the penetration of tumor cells, and is also one of the common route for tumor cells to enter into the blood circulation. So once the cancer cells enters the blood circulation system, most of the common cancer cells could not survive in the blood circulation system. So how does it survive in this process? It is very tricky. It will attach or interact with other blood components such as platelets, lymphocytes, and others. So after the tumor cells has arise into the blood circulation system, they will be trapped in the capillary bed of those distant organs by adhering itself to the capillary endothelial cells or the subendothelial basement membrane. And then the cancer cells will transport through the blood, and it will be transported to the organs such as the heart, because heart is responsible to pump blood to all parts of the body. This cancer cell will also take advantage on this process too. So at the meantime, while the heart transport blood to all parts of the body, the cancer cell will also be transported to all parts of the body. So and then the cancer cells will be arrested in certain organs. So in this slide, the example of organs will be the lungs, because lungs is also one of the most major sites for the cancer cells growth. And afterwards, after it is arrested in the organs, it will adhere to the vessel's wall. And this process is actually known as intravasation. Further explanation of this process will be explained in the slides later. So after the intravasation process, the extravasation process occurs. So extravasation process is actually the diffusion of these cancer cells out of the blood capillaries or blood vessels, and it will start to proliferate to other parts of the body. So after the extravasation process, the microenvironment also will be established. This is also known as the micrometastasis. So micrometastasis is actually the small amount of cancer cells that has been shed away from its original tumor site, and this cancer cell will start to spread to other parts of the body. However, its effect is quite difficult to be detected because it is just too small. It cannot be detected through those simple the basic imaging tests such as mammogram, MRI, ultrasound, or even CT scan. So at this stage will be the proliferation and the angiogenesis process. So at this stage, the proliferation will happen within the organ parenchyma, which completes the metastatic process. To continue growing, this micrometastasis must develop a vascular network and evades the destruction by the host defense. The cell can then invade other blood vessels, enter back to the blood circulation, and produce additional metastasis. These intravasation process are promoted by the tumor-associated macrophages. First, it is transported through paracellular, which happens via the endothelial cell junctions, or transcellular intravasation, which happens at the endothelial cell's body. So during paracellular intravasation, MMP1 and PAR1 helps in the remodeling of the endothelial cells. So the disintegrin and the ADAM12, in other words, it is also known as the metalproproteinase. It induced the cleavage of VE cadherin and TIE2, which caused the disruption of the endothelial junction. This macrophage is then released the EGF and TNF1 alpha, which helps in migrating these cancer cells to the blood vessels and encourage the transendothelial migration. So during this transcellular intravasation here, the CA2 plus calmodulin complex here will activate the MLC and the MLCK active sites, which encourage the attachment of cancer cells, causing rapid cytoskeletal and membrane remodeling. So how does this cancer cell spread through the blood circulation? So actually, once the cancer cells enter this blood circulation, it is known as the circulating tumor cells. So these cancer cells will start to travel until it got stuck in the blood capillaries. So the cells will then travel through the vessel's walls and into the organ nearby. Then this cancer cell starts to grow when the environment is conducive. But most of the cancer cells could not survive through this process is due to our immune system. However, some cancer cells still manage to survive in this blood circulation system because they start to bind with those other blood components such as platelets for protection. It also increases the chances for this complex, the cancer cells and blood components complex, to filter out through the capillaries and the surrounding tissues. What is the importance of these lymph nodes? So actually the lymph nodes filters the lymph fluid when the lymph fluid pass through them. So the white blood cell will start to attack any bacterial, any viruses, or any foreign material which pass through the lymph. When they found out the problem such as an infection, injury, or cancer, the node or the group of lymph nodes in that area will swell and enlarge, because at this process, they start to work by filtering out all these bad cells out of them. So if those cancer cells break away from the tumor, they will get stuck in one or more lymph nodes. So therefore, the doctors will help to check the lymph nodes first before they start to work out on how to determine what is the best therapy for that patient, for that cancer patient, because this is one of the accurate steps to determine how far or how severe how far this cancer cell has spread, and determine the severity of these cancers in the patient's condition. So that's all from me today. Thank you, everyone.